Boy, do I have a story for you all today. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have a great story for you all today. So, this past week, or last weekend, I was out shooting an event and I completely almost botched the whole entire shoot. And here's how. So, for the most part, you all know that I have two cameras, right? I have the Canon 1DX Mark II, what we're filming on with here, and we also have the EOS R, which you guys know I've made multiple videos about when it comes to photography and film. So last weekend, I was commissioned out to cover a conference, and for this conference, it was a 2-day event, and I was supposed to be doing photo and video. Now, typically when it comes to doing conferences or commission works or client work where it requires me to do both photography and video, typically what I'll do is actually hire someone out and kind of include their fee of coming out to shoot or be my second shooter within the budget or the quote that I send to the client. So here's where things get interesting. So I jumped on a call Friday with the client and we kind of, got the logistics out the way as far as what they expected from me. And then exactly from what they expected and what they wanted, I kind of told them, like, hey, I'll be able to do this and it'll cost this. So after our call, I told them that I would send over the quote or the estimate for the coverage of the conference, just trying to give them an estimate of what the cost would be. And I'll allow them to review it over the weekend, and Monday, they will follow up with me to either book the shoot or not. And everything was a go. The client was like, yeah, I'll give it to the team and then we'll call you back or email you back on Monday. So everything's going good. Now, remember, this is Friday where I sent the email and they're supposed to follow up on Monday. So kind of remember the time frame because the shoot was scheduled for the following Thursday and Friday. So per that, we only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to actually lock in the shoot. Now, when Monday comes, I'm sitting around waiting for a text or a call or even an email. So, checking on the phone, I'm checking my email and nothing. So I'm like, well, typically on Mondays, everybody's trying to follow up over emails that they miss, end of day on Friday. And maybe they're just, kind of hectic and slammed at work. And maybe they'll follow with me later on in the evening since this is something that they're doing outside of work. So the whole day goes by, I hear nothing. Then Tuesday comes and then I finally get a text. And within that text, the client texts me saying, hey, Bruno, just send an email over. Everything's good to go. If you can go ahead and send over the invoice, we'll go ahead and pay the deposit. So now again, today's Tuesday where I'm getting this email. So I reply back, type up a good email for them along with the invoice, and I send it off. Now that I sent it off on Tuesday before the end of day or end of business day, typically clients more than likely will either, get it that day and review it and then pay it in the morning, or just get the email and then, may not actually open it and pay it until Wednesday. So because the deposit wasn't paid on Tuesday, but rather Wednesday evening, I didn't have time to actually book a second shooter to come out and help me film. Now, the main reason why I wasn't able to do it is because until that deposit is actually paid, I don't necessarily believe or think the shoot is going to happen. And this is just how I operate business in general. Until the money is actually secured, the shoot isn't necessarily finalized, until the client actually gives you that physical, dollar amount, whether it's through an invoice or hard money or however they're paying you. I necessarily don't think the shoot is going to happen because literally anything can happen. They could cancel late. They could just never follow up. So until I secure that deposit, I never 100% believe that I'm going to be shooting. But so yeah, So because of that, I didn't reach out to, any of the homies asking if they could come out and help, because like myself, we all like to get paid. So I didn't want to, ask someone to clear their schedule if I hadn't have already secured the funds to guarantee that we would be shooting. So therefore, I showed up to the conference solo dolo, ready to do both photography and film. Now, when it came to when it comes down to actually showing up to the event, I honestly thought that, everything will be okay, because one, I've done events in the past for, a client of mine that did silent headphone parties. And with these parties, we literally toured the country, going all over, state to state, doing these. And like, it was like quick turnaround. Like, I was providing, like 2 highlight videos for Instagram and a gallery of photos within like 24 hours. So the workload, I really wasn't necessarily worried about it, even more so because I had 2 cameras. So because I had 2 cameras, I was like, hey, let's just dedicate one camera to photography, and then let's dedicate the other camera to video. So the plan was to use the 1DX for all stills, and then use the EOS R plus the Ronin for videography. Now, ideally, like in my mind, this thought like the perfect setup when doing a conference or an event, that I would be able to just, capture both video real quickly, and then quickly take out or swing up the camera and, snap a few photos. Like, how hard would that have been? Well, if you guys have ever used, a camera on a gimbal, you need 2 hands. And if you ever did event photography, you need 2 hands to kind of, quickly move between camera settings to make sure you're getting the proper exposure, depending on how close or far you are from your subject. So technically, you can't really do both simultaneously, but me, I was trying. And to be 100% honest with you all, it was going terrible. Like, I was missing shots, photos were out of focus, all of my pans and tilts were all shaky and wobbly because I was trying to hold the runner with one hand, and it was just all bad. Like, I literally almost threw the entire event because I was just trying to do way too much. So what I did was literally just use the 1DX for both photography and video. In the case of trying to do both photography and video simultaneously by yourself, that is a complete disaster waiting to happen. So, yeah, unfortunately for myself, I was able to slow down in the heat of the moment. When you're doing the events, the client's asking you to do this, guests are asking you to do that. Hey, can you take my picture? Hey, can you snap us real quick? Hey, can you come over here? Like, hey, can you come over there? So, within the midst of that, sometimes you got to take a step back, give yourself, one, a chance to breathe, but then 2, to also think through the process of what's best for you to be able to capture the event for the client. And for me, that was just shooting with one camera. So, you don't always need the latest and every piece of gear on a shoot. Sometimes you just need one camera and the lens. Like, I shot the entire conference on the 1DX Mark II, which is a 4 or 5 year old camera by now, and I shot it on the Sigma Art 35 that you guys have heard me talk about multiple times here on the channel. So again, when it comes to doing commission work or client work for businesses or individuals, one, it comes down to you just solely being confident in your gear. Like, know how to use your gear. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, knowing your gear front and back is the key. If you don't take anything away from today's video or story time today, that I would say, remember to, one, in the event that you're hired to do both photography and video, bring a second shooter. It just makes everything a lot more easy. Then 2, also maybe don't book a conference the day before. And yeah, that's kind of, horrible scheduling, but you know, you got to get the money. But yeah. And 3, the final thing is to know your gear. Know your gear front and back, left and right, up and down. Like, know anything and everything about your gear and what it can do in different situations. And you'll always be good no matter what you're shooting. So, yeah, that'll do it for story time today. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button so it's able to get out to others and help them or assist them in growing in this art form of photography and video. And if you aren't already, please consider subscribing to the channel with post notifications on so you're notified when these storytime videos go live, or vlogs, other tutorials, documentaries, shorts, or whatever the case may be. But until next time, peace.